Welcome to my channel, Hidden Points. Imagine for a moment stepping into the mind of someone who remains calm in the eye of the storm. Someone whose nerves don't unravel when chaos erupts, whose decisions stay precise and measured while others panic. Most people look at this and call it talent, luck, or maybe just natural composure. But the psychological reality behind this unshakable calm is far deeper and more complex than you might think. The first truth we need to understand is that calmness under pressure rarely comes from an absence of fear. Instead, it emerges from a deep integration of our hidden shadow patterns, emotional regulation, cognitive mastery, and profound self-awareness. The individuals who stay steady in a crisis have often developed a heightened sense of their own internal state. This allows them to register fear, tension, and uncertainty without becoming completely overwhelmed by them. So how does this develop? Let's go a little deeper. Our early life experiences, our attachment history with caregivers, and repeated exposure to challenges all shape our nervous system. When children experience instability or trauma, the unconscious mind often develops clever strategies for self-regulation and control. In adulthood, these deep-seated patterns can manifest as resilience, presence, and that incredible ability to maintain clarity in high-pressure situations. Now, let's consider the shadow. This is a fascinating concept. Calmness in a crisis is rarely a sign of invulnerability. In fact, it often coexists with unacknowledged fear and vulnerability. The key is that these individuals have learned to integrate their shadow. They can experience fear without reacting to it impulsively. They process that intense emotional energy without letting it spiral out of control. Their conscious mind remains steady while the unconscious mind works in the background, monitoring, interpreting, and responding strategically. This is also deeply connected to our physiology. Those who remain calm have finely tuned autonomic nervous systems. Think of it like a sophisticated internal thermostat that regulates heart rate, breathing, and stress hormones. When a threat appears, their system responds with precise adjustments rather than an uncontrolled, escalating panic. This creates an internal environment where observation and choice are still possible, even in the most extreme circumstances. On top of this, there's a layer of cognitive mastery. Calm individuals often possess a high capacity for attention, working memory, and executive function. This allows for rapid assessment of a situation, pattern recognition, and strategic planning, all under immense pressure. Their unconscious mind continuously evaluates risks and potential outcomes, presenting clear information to the conscious mind without the distortion of panic or emotional flooding. This leads us to emotional literacy. True calmness is rooted in the ability to observe and process your emotions without being dominated by them. A calm person recognizes fear, urgency, and tension as important signals, not as overwhelming threats. They integrate these signals into a deliberate, thoughtful response that maintains clarity and awareness. Our early attachment patterns also play a huge role. A secure attachment in childhood helps us learn to observe and reflect even in a crisis. In contrast, anxious or avoidant patterns can either amplify our reactivity or cause us to withdraw completely. The truly calm individual has often worked through and integrated these old attachment dynamics, allowing them to maintain equilibrium no matter the situation. Think about energy management. A crisis places a huge demand on us, emotionally, cognitively, and physically. Individuals who remain calm have developed strategies for allocating their attention, modulating their arousal, and conserving their psychic energy. This allows them to keep observing, thinking, and acting strategically, sustaining their resilience when it matters most. This calmness also has a profound influence on others. It stabilizes the entire social and emotional system around them. It reduces the contagion of anxiety and models a more adaptive way of coping. Their unconscious projection of confidence and control naturally reinforces the perception that they are competent and in charge, creating a calming effect on the whole group. So, how do they get there? They have often confronted their own unconscious fears, internal chaos, and shadow impulses head-on. By integrating these patterns, a crisis no longer triggers an automatic defensive reaction. Instead, it activates conscious choice, strategic insight, and clear-eyed observation. This completely transforms their decision-making under pressure. They can simultaneously observe the situation, regulate their internal state, anticipate consequences, and act with precision, all while maintaining awareness of the people around them. They aren't hijacked by panic or reactivity. They also construct different internal narratives. They frame threats and uncertainty not as terrifying disasters, but as challenges to be observed, assessed, and managed. This mental reframing facilitates strategic thinking and relational intelligence in real time. Over time, this becomes a reinforced habit. Through repeated practice, exposure, and reflection, they strengthen the neural pathways for self-regulation. Calmness becomes their default response to crisis. Not because they are suppressing emotion, but because their system has learned a better way to operate. The long-term consequences of this integrated calmness are profound. It produces resilience, insight, strategic foresight, and exceptional leadership qualities. On the other hand, neglecting to integrate our shadow, regulate our emotions, or manage our attention can lead to hidden tension, anxiety, and even sudden collapse under sustained pressure. There's even an existential component to this. Those who remain calm have often integrated an awareness of life's uncertainty and impermanence without becoming obsessed or avoidant. This conscious engagement allows for a sense of presence and balanced action, rather than despair or escapism. It all comes together in their behavior, their tone of speech, the timing of their decisions, their very gestures. They become an anchor in chaotic environments, modulating group emotions, reducing panic, and providing clarity and confidence. Ultimately, the calmest individuals have faced their own internal chaos, fear, and uncertainty. By consciously observing and integrating these shadow elements, they've transformed potential panic into deliberate choice. Their unconscious impulses become resources, not liabilities. So, let's be clear. Calmness in a crisis is not luck, temperament, or simple emotional suppression. It is the hard-won product of deep inner work, shadow integration, emotional literacy, physiological regulation, cognitive mastery, and repeated conscious engagement with fear and uncertainty. When the conscious and unconscious minds operate in perfect synchrony, they produce clarity, presence, and true psychological resilience. This is the hidden reality of those who are always calm, revealing how conscious integration can transform chaos into mastery. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the human mind. See you next time.